Broadcasting from the World Conference Center in Bonn, Germany, Solutions Review is on location at the FME User Conference 2023, the peak of data integration. Brought to you by Safe Software and Terra.
I'm Doug Atkinson, Solutions Review, and we are here on location in Bonn, Germany at the peak of data integration event. And I am joined by two guests who've traveled from different parts of the world to be here. Christian Fellinger, all the way from Australia.
That's right.
You are in the sales department as a sales director.
Sales manager for Australia.
Sales manager. And Rose Ellen Minchew, who is here from England?
Yes, from the UK, yeah.
From the UK. And you are on the pre-sales side. And so you're both coming at it from a little bit different perspective in terms of talking to customers at One Spatial. Tell us a little bit about, Christian, why don't I start with you? Tell us a little bit about what you're seeing in terms of demand for FME with regard to the One Spatial service offering.
Yeah, and really, Rose and I were chatting about this before the presentation or for the meeting, and really, I think utilities, especially in Australia, is a really hot market for us. So we do a lot of work in the utility space, government, but really utilities, with renewables, and everyone's looking at digital twins and digital engineering in the utility space to help manage all of this renewable energy and upgrading the capacity. Really needing, FMEs really fitting into the, doing the heavy lifting to help make that possible. And they're all well-funded, the utilities, do provide important service. So we're really seeing that driving a lot of uptake and expansion of FME in that space in Australia, definitely.
Yeah, I think we see that over and over again in the folks who we're talking to in these interviews, and also just at the presentations as well. The amount of excitement that's being generated around being able to incorporate geospatial data the way that FME allows it. I mean, what do you see when you're talking to at the pre-sale level that, from a technical perspective, that kind of lights people up in terms of, when they start to realize some of the things that they can do with FME?
So it's the automation of being able to check large quantities of data through FME. And what I see from the pre-sale side is a lot of the customers want to be able to check multiple data sets against each other and be able to use FME to do that. And they come to One Spatial to help define those requirements and how to kind of think about a solution, what that could look like, and if it's possible, and how it would integrate with their different systems that are already in place. And FME has the capability and tool set to enable that to happen.
And have you seen, as the solution's been evolving, I mean, it's certainly been around for a while, longer than probably you've been pre-selling it, but in terms of, what you're seeing at an event like this with where they're headed and some of the new innovations, are people realizing just how powerful this can be?
I think so. The digital plan submission, what was mentioned yesterday, is one of those areas which is really, I think, exciting non-spatial people, and being able to, as using a spatial tool to do non-spatial things, or FME is now moving into more of a general space, and I think people are noticing that FME can just deal with more than just spatial data. It's the non-spatial, unstructured data that can then have value added to, and add value to projects and to databases and data sets as well.
Yeah, I mean, do you see that, Christian, as kind of a natural extension of data integration in general? I mean, where they're taking it and kind of how they're seeing it more outside of being kind of a niche solution to being this more mainstream platform solution?
100%, and it's interesting what we're seeing as the people recognize the importance of spatial information, just data spatial information. We're seeing in Australia more conversations with some of the big consulting firms, PwCs, groups like that, Ernst & Young, really getting into the geospatial market and adding that capability or that tool set into their tool set, which is FME, incorporating those spatial so they can offer as part of their service offering. That's been, and they're traditionally non-spatial in terms of their consulting, but they're getting involved in those digital twin projects where geospatial is obviously omnipresent, and they use FME to help facilitate the move in there. So it's really exciting progression.
So what do you get out of an event like this when you come here? I mean, you're obviously, it's nice to get back to kind of these more in-person events now that we're kind of through all of the restrictions and so forth. But what do you find when you come to something like this? I mean, what do you get out of it?
I like seeing how people are using FME for my own like career development and seeing how I could do things better. So earlier today, I was just seeing that you can add filters into your data as you import it, and I've been using the filter as I've imported it instead. So it's a learning opportunity for me, as well as networking and meeting some of our like clients who are also here. So it's different kind of things. Just mainly seeing how other people are using it, so I can learn from them and develop my career here in FME.
Yeah, there's a lot of action around here.
Yes.
There's things going on in the big room over there. There's a whole bunch of breakout sessions happening down there. We were talking earlier, Christian, and I saw on your LinkedIn profile that you went to the same university as one of the co-founders, Don Murray, a little 100%. Later on after he had been there. But tell me a little bit about, because you saw him present, is that right, when you were at school? And so you've seen FME for some time.
Yeah, that was the first exposure. It was the last year of my spatial degree, Simon Fraser University. Shout out to them, great spatial program. And Don and Dale came and presented, probably 2000, 2001, presented on FME and what it can do at that point. And I think they did a demonstration where they converted a map info file into an Esri shapefile, and that was like, wow, pretty amazing at that stage. So it was a data conversion, and we did a bit of work with it at that level. And I've just recently joined One Spatial a couple of years ago, so I've come back to FME and just been blown away with where it was, in 2000 to where it's now is mind-boggling, and obviously where it's going, like Rose said, non-spatial. We ChatGPT, OpenAI, key takeaway from yesterday.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little
amazing.
bit. So we're certainly hearing a lot about AI and the impact, and are we at an inflection point? And I'm curious to get your opinion about kind of what you see people wanting to know about, what you're seeing yourself in terms of the opportunity and where you see things going.
Yeah, no, it's a buzz, bit of a buzz. I mean, OpenAI and ChatGPT, but I think what we saw yesterday from some of the capability, and SAFE seems to be ahead of the curve in terms of the readers and writers and what they've implemented in the software, but it's pretty much limitless possibilities in terms of helping, I think, ultimately making people who work in FME more efficient, but also on the commercial side finding potential ways to, from a business point of view, have a workflow that this is a potential customer I want to look at, run it against ChatGPT and find relevant information from a sales point of view that can help me and the team in terms of identifying new prospects and looking for new opportunities to sell FME as well. So I think both the technical and the commercial side, the sky's the limit, and it's great to see that SAFE is ahead of the curve really in that space. Yeah,
I'm curious, I've been on my fair share of early calls with prospects for a variety of solutions in my career. You've been on a lot of calls. I'm curious to know what you would consider to be a prospect you can really kind of help when you're kind of in the call and you realize, oh boy, these guys have all the lights blinking green for really getting value out of not only FME but One Spatial.
When they bring problems or where they're just like, oh, we're trying to do X, Y, Z, and we just don't know what to do next, or it's talking through a long-winded process. It's just like, oh, this could be automated with FME Flow, or this could be instantly kind of going to solution stage early, because everything is just saying, oh, this could be automated with FME, or it could be a workbench could really solve this problem. That does sometimes happen really soon in the process, and it's very interesting to be part of that process, to scope the work and to actually work with the clients to identify where their pain points are and what their current workflows look like, and if it uses FME, how can it be optimized, or if they're not using FME at all, actually introducing them to FME and seeing their eyes light up with just like, oh, we didn't know this existed, or we didn't know this was even possible to do. And so it's quite nice to be part of to join them along their journey into like automating or even just using a different kind of GIS system to solve their problem. And it's great to have FME to be able to do that. Like, I think Don or Dale said yesterday that no matter how small your problem is, FME has the potential to be part of that solution. And that's just really how I see it working out with clients that we see.
Yeah. So, last question, Kristen, do you have, where do you see prospects typically in the implementation life cycle? So, I mean, are you seeing folks who've already got something in place and they're realizing that they may need the next generation of solution, or are you seeing folks that are, really just trying to extract as much value out of really high-end tools already?
I think for us in Australia, I mean, FME is a really commonly used tool in Australia. So I think a lot of people, in terms of client base, they have the FME desktop or the FME form, as we see now, and a lot of them are going through that journey through to the FME flow side. Really, the keyword automation, they want to automate workflows, looking for a better way to do that. Doing that migration to FME flow, making it really a truly enterprise solution. Others who have a mature FME implementation, both form and flow, looking for opportunities to extend it into other parts beyond spatial, looking into, take over, mostly use other types of ETL tools, but say we've got FME, great tool, easy to use, good price point, can we expand that beyond spatial within the organization? So a lot of talks we're having now are with people in ICT, non-traditional users, really looking to leverage the benefits of FME further beyond spatial. So that's what.
And is that a big leap for them to kind of process that being able to use a tool like FME for non-spatial? I mean, do you see that as a hard sell?
It can be, because ICT people tend to, what's spatial, especially if they don't have that appreciation of what spatial is. So definitely there are some conversations and that's where you really have to focus on the business benefits and the potential value, and sometimes getting assistance from SAFE in having those conversations. Like Don and Dale, they'll jump on calls with potential customers to walk them through something. If there's an opportunity to replace a tool with FME, they're always happy to support that. So having that support from SAFE in those situations is really beneficial.
Well, this has been great. Thanks very much for swinging by today. I know there's a lot going on, and I wish you the best of luck in getting as much out of this conference as you can, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Excellent.